Corlejo, and I am the certification manager for WeBEC Florida. And I've been with the organization now for going on 19 years in September.
Is that all?
Yeah.
I think you started with Nancy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Well,
I did
actually,
right after Nancy started. Yes.
that's true. And I remember that within maybe 2 months of Lisa starting, she came to the office and introduced me to her, I don't know, about 6-month-old daughter, right? And now Alyssa's in college, and we have watched. I have watched Alyssa grow. I've kind of measured the time at WBDC or WeBEC Florida through Alyssa's development and growth. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know. I knew that you had been there, but it is funny when you think about it, right?
Yes, definitely.
And Lisa, you and Gelsey, well, yeah, you're everything. So I know Maxine is still learning, and you do all the certifications and.
Right, I do all the certification, new and recertification, and I also do trainings regarding certification, how to get certified, and once you're certified, how to kind of market the certification. So a little bit of everything. I'm the one that goes to the committee meetings and meets with the committee members, and then Gelsey does a whole lot as well, so she'll let you know that. But yeah, so a little bit of everything. We're a small team, but we are very strong.
You do the work of like 10.
Yes. Lisa and Gelsey are my right and left hands. We wouldn't be able to survive were it not for them. So yeah.
That's actually, so Gelsey, you're next then, because you're the other arm. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Gelsey Capote, and can you hear me okay? Because there's kind of a lag. I mean, okay. And I've been with WeBEC Florida now, formerly WBDC Florida, going on 9 years in April. And I do certification, also site visits, HR, administration, so a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like every day I was just on the phone with Lisa, because you're still in the learning process. There's always something new to learn, something new to do, and I have questions. I have questions, and she answers them for me, because I'm not going to call Nancy every time I have a question. Definitely not. But it's a learning process, and I enjoy it. And truly, honestly, I came working 20 hours. I went to 25, and I'm keep adding, thinking that this was just going to be something temporary. But I truly enjoy it, and I'm happy to be here, and I love working with the women business, all of them, all the WBEs.
And Gelsey also keeps us on track. Right, Nancy? Like I love, Gelsey is so on it, you guys. Like, is this okay? How's this moving? Did you get that email? Like, I couldn't function without Gelsey because there's so many moving parts, and somehow Gelsey knows where everything is at the time it's there. It's incredible to me.
Yes. No, and she has the patience of Job. The other day we were having my book translated into Portuguese, and so we were trying to do the wire transfer from here to Euros to Lisbon, where they're translating the book, and I would have just given up after the first attempt because it just wasn't working. But Gelsey just very patiently, just said, Nancy, I'm going to send you another code from the bank because we're going to try this again. And I'm just, okay, try it again. It took like 5 or 6 attempts. I know that I would have, thrown the whole project out the window, but Gelsey was just very gracious about it. And yeah, it'll get done. It'll get done. And it got done, So Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's another
Thank
exciting
you.
thing with our book here. I'm going to claim it. It's our book. Your community has claimed it. So what we're doing for those of you who just joined is we're just going to go around and kind of introduce. We had Lisa and Gelsey from the team introduce themselves, and we'll jump over. And now I'd love to have Maxine McChesney, introduce herself. And I'm very fortunate, you guys. I get to work with this phenomenal woman. So it's amazing.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Maxine McChesney. I'm an attorney, and I'm also a visibility coach, which means on the attorney side, I do estate planning and get to deal with all of those issues, which right now everybody's talking about, I know. And on the visibility coaching side, I get to work with women business owners and help them become visible, show up authentically, attract ideal clients, and make some money. Because I found that visibility was a huge issue for me, and so it just fascinates me. So it's nice to meet everybody, and I look forward to hearing all about it.
And yeah, Maxine is in that exciting mode of launching some new things here in the next couple of weeks. So we are just so excited to have her come in. And of course, she's gotten recruited to this community because she's going to be a wonderful asset. So I'm so excited you were able to join us. Why don't we jump over and Dr. Jacqueline, can we hear from you? How are you?
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Nancy, I'm just so excited. I'm so proud of you. Again,
Thank you.
writing a book there's so much that goes into it. It's not just, I haven't taken that big leap. So again, kudos, and 100% with you. I've told so many different people just because, again, sisters have to look out for sisters, right? So we're all part of WeBEC Florida. But my name is Dr. Jacqueline Darna. I'm the CEO and medical inventor of No More Nausea, No More Migraine, and No More Sleepless Nights, the first and only 30-second relief for your worst problems like nausea, headaches, migraines, and of course, sleep problems. And now, during this wonderful COVID period, I'm much better known as No More PPE problems. So I have procured billions, not even millions now, to very large Fortune 500 companies that are in need of medical type products. The pivot came because we got stuck in one way or the other, and all of my hospitals said, Jackie, we entrust you, and that so many different manufacturers, and it's incredible how connecting people really works. So again, it's been a really fun ride. I've been busier than I think I've ever been, but it's been really fun. And again, understanding when to scale and what to scale is important. And that's the reason why again, Nancy, I love you, and I want this book to succeed all expectations because of the fact that it is really important that, because women especially, we never take that grasp, I guess, because we're always like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work, or when do I really hit it big, or when do I, smack whatever it is, like an opportunity for COVID testing, for example. So for me, it was like, oh, do I do that? It's kind of outside of my realm. I think I should have paid attention more in immunology, but as a physician, I'm getting along pretty good with it. So I think it's a really important topic because women, we're brave. We're brave to be able to start businesses, but we just don't know when to take that next step or leap, really, because we're too afraid because we have children. We have to hold on to a paycheck, right? There's so many entities that could be. So it's good seeing you guys.
You too.
You're an absolute inspiration, Dr. Jackie. So thank you.
Oh, stop it. You are so sweet.
Honestly. Oh, you're one of our stories, right, Nancy?
Yeah.
Cool.
Are burning every now and then, even though you don't know it. So congratulations on your pivot as well. That's tremendous.
Thank you.
And good to know, right, Nancy?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's been really cool. Like I get calls from like the NBA and from the Major League Baseball League, and I'm like, hey, hi. And they're like, oh, such and such told me. Or like when I had Duke Energy ended up like talking to somebody else about me, and then I'm getting a phone calls going, oh, I didn't know you, but that's cool that my actual procurement person like recommended, and she's like, you're the only one that can actually get stuff on the ground. So it's been a fun, and it's all about we're all together in this. And so again, together, united, we stand stronger.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be calling you for a member story. So all right, Valerie, how are you today?
Hi, how is everybody doing?
Good to see your face.
Thank you. I have to apologize. I thought that I was chiming in to listen about Nancy's book. I didn't realize I'd be like actually.
No apologies.
Yeah.
No apologies. You look beautiful.
Oh no,
And we're all jealous.
I'm trying to eat lunch and fit it all in. But thanks for having me. I am Valerie Lavin, CEO of Luminary Global. We provide emergency product solutions, and that's everything from the basic first aid kit to something more elaborate, EMT bags, active shooter kits, stop the bleed kits, hurricane survival kits, and everything in between. We have everything a prepper would ever want to put in their backpack or store in their basement. We also customize all of those products. So for example, Pasco Sheriff's Department is one of our biggest customers locally. They want a specific bleeding control kit to fit in their cargo pocket in a very specific place on their protective vest. So we're working with them to ensure that not only the dimensions, but the guts of the kit, the inside is what they need, and the functionality of it, which is really the most fun part of our business, we think. And then we also have an antimicrobial. It was developed in the way back when during the chemical threats by Saddam Hussein. It's 100% biodegradable, and it kills every known and unknown biological pathogen from anthrax to salmonella, SARS-CoV, which is the virus that kills or that causes the coronavirus. And we do provide PPE, but for very selected customers. If they come to us, we're able to work with certain suppliers. We're not as aggressive with trying to get it out there as Jackie is, for various reasons, because it's just on the peripheral of what we do. It's not our core business, and we found at the beginning of the COVID quarantine and chaos that it really took away from our core business, and we didn't want to leave our already loyal customers kind of out to dry. So I am also a retired Army First Sergeant. So part of the reason why I don't want to scale is because I spent nearly 22 years managing and leading people. So I'm working over getting through that adversity and apprehension and scaling our business. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to hear about Nancy's book.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you for joining us.
Well, again, thank you for all the amazing products you provide and what you're doing. It's incredible.
And one more thing I'll throw out there, since the group is small, I'm also co-founder of a nonprofit called Action Zone. We provide entrepreneurship education and training to veterans and their family members that aspire to become entrepreneurs. So we have another cohort that starts in August, and we specialize in the ideation stage of that entrepreneurial journey. So, you know, you got that feeling you want to start your own business, but you don't know what to do with that. Or you have an idea and you just don't know if it possibly could turn into a business, if it is a viable concept. So that's
awesome.
Really a passion of mine.
Oh, congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Definitely make sure that you share that with us so that we can, help get the word out. So fantastic. Okay, let's jump over, and hi, Camille. We're so glad you're here with us. And we're just going around because we have a small group, so we're going to let everybody say a couple words and say hello. Let's see.
You're on mute.
Yeah. Can I get you? Let me get you off mute. Let's see here. Hold on. Oh, there she is. Let's see if I can unmute you.
Hi, Nance. Hi, guys.
There you are.
Hello.
Sorry, I got distracted. I'm in that We Thrive thing, and I got like about 3 hours today of I thought was tomorrow. And if you don't prepare. Hi, Nancy. Congratulations.
Hello.
I've been waiting forever.
I know.
I'm so excited.
Thank you, thank you. And we'll talk about We Thrive in a bit. So it's a special program that WeBank is doing. And Camille is one of those people like me that if there's a course, she's going to run to it and get as much as she can out of it. So this is a WeBank course. So we'll have to talk offline to see how you're doing.
Well, I consider it a lifeline, because I'm always at the end of my rope, especially being in construction. And so I've gotten to take the Tux and the JMIs and the Goldman Sachs through WeBank. And if I tell you, if I didn't get this one, I probably would have hung myself with how crazy it's been in Florida, and being in construction.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. And then we've got Joanna. And Joanna, if can you just say hi?
Hi.
Oh, there she is.
Sorry. Hi. Yeah, I didn't realize it was camera too, and
I know.
Mom
I'm
life.
looking for my hat.
Gorgeous.
So my name's Joanna Sanchez, and I know most of you on here, I think except for Maxine. I am the Tampa coordinator for WeBank Florida, and I handle the events and site visits, and also fun emails that you probably get from me every now and then. But I am happy to be part of this team, and I'm so excited for Nancy and the first book in her series. So I'm looking forward to the other books as well. So congratulations, Nancy.
Thank you.
And hi, everybody.
And I'll do a little plug. Joanna's got her first virtual meetup. Joanna has been the queen of our meetups. The Tampa group has been going strong now since Joanna came on and having their monthly meetups, which she's doing her first virtual one tomorrow. No, is it tomorrow? Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
We're
out 5:30.
And anybody can join. So you don't have to be from Tampa, and the links are online if you want to join her session. And then we've got another one in Central Florida going on. So these are something, we were doing them just, kind of quick ones every night when COVID first, we were all in quarantine. Now we're going to go to like this monthly opportunity. So again, we can see each other because didn't mean to spring it on you guys, but with Nancy, we all miss seeing our faces, right, Joanna? We miss seeing everybody.
Yeah,
and so anyway, let's jump into it. So we are here today to celebrate this amazing book and all of the love and passion and experience that has gone into Nancy writing this. And, just like you guys, I have been so blessed to be a part of having Nancy in my life. And she has been my coach over the past almost 3 years now, Nancy, as I have started my business. And so who better? So I wanted to kind of just start, and a lot of you may know Nancy's story and some of you may not. You may just think Nancy's always been there. She came out of the womb and started helping women business owners because she obviously was born to do this. So Nancy, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into this, and then why this book?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, thank you and welcome everyone, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day to be with us. So the story of the book is pretty basic. It's pretty simple. I was committed to writing a weekly blog called The Tuesday Toolbox in an effort to promote business development among our members. And every Tuesday we, put out a blog post that was a resource, and we used to publish them on LinkedIn. And one day someone that I did not know read the blog and contacted me. And she'd gone back and she'd read a couple of the previous blog posts. And she said, you should turn this into a book. These are really great tips. And I said, really, a book? And I don't know, it started kind of working in my mind, and I hired someone and a copy editor, and she looked at it and she said, you have enough material here for 3 books. And I thought, wow, at that point I had about 86 of these blog posts. And then from that, I hired Diane Sears, who is part of our team. And Diane is an incredible journalist and writer. And so she took this idea of these 3 books, all of these blogs, and we decided that that we would focus in on that second group. So the 3 books, according to that very first person who looked at everything for me, she said, you have material for someone who is just starting out with ideas and tips and information on what to think about before you decide to take that step into entrepreneurship. You have material for someone who's been in business 3 to 5 years and is ready to take the next step. And then you have material for someone who's a really seasoned entrepreneur who's been in business for 10 plus years, who's looking at what's next in her life. So we decided, let's start it with the middle group, because so many of our members are kind of in that middle group, right? So you've been in business, you've been successful, and as Dr. Jackie said, we're a little bit fearful of what's next, right? So the idea of the 25 tips, I really owe that to my son, because as we were looking at these different blog posts, I was having kind of a hard time. How am I going to segue from one into the other? And he said, they're individual, they're tips, just call it 25 tips and, you know, put it in different sections. That's what we ended up doing. And that here is, you know, this great book. And I share this with you in all humility to say, you too can write a book. If I had started these blog posts thinking that this was going to turn into 3 books, I would still be on the first page, because like everybody else, I'm a perfectionist, and I want to make sure it's correct, and how do I start, and this and that. And really just letting go of that chase for perfection, and just doing a blog post on a weekly basis. A blog post is 350 words, not much more than that. And I think we can all commit to writing 350 words, you know, a week, and turn that into your dream of sharing your passion and your knowledge with you know, the right target audience. And as far as how I got into this, I was in community development, and because of my language skills, I got a call from the founder of the Women's Business Development Center, who said, you know, we have a group of women. This is right after Hurricane Andrew, back in 1992 in Florida. We have a group of women who are interested in setting up a sewing cooperative. They're Haitian women. I know you're Haitian, Nancy. Do you speak Creole, and would you do training for them? And so that's how I started working with the council, is because of a passion that I had for helping these women. And from there, I became an official trainer, and from there a consultant. And then in 1999, I became the president. And I've always just really, I'm, you know, in admiration of women who take an idea and grow it, you know, and Lisa and Gelsey and Joanna and Steph could tell you, we have incredible women in our network who have taken a small idea and said, I can make this into a business, and have made millions of dollars. And more important than the money, they've made an impact on their communities. And I think that that's what really drives our passion at WeBec Florida, is we want to see, of course, we want you to make money. Of course, we want you to have a successful business, but we also want to see what you do with that, right? For us, it's all about financial independence. It's about giving back. And it's about pulling others up, you know, to our level. And so what this book does is it shares stories. It's in 3 parts, because again, at WeBec Florida, we really believe that a woman is part of a whole, right? The business aspect is one part of what we do. We're moms, we're daughters, we're wives, we're sisters, we're aunties, we're all of that, as well as we're business owners. So the book has 3 sections. There's the first section is on personal development. Again, because, you know, who you are personally speaks to who you will be as a boss, as a leader, as a business owner. The second section is business development. And then the third section is all about your company, right? How are you going to get your team to where they need to be so that you can do what you set out to do originally?
Oh, excuse me. And I have to admit, that is one of the things I latched onto, Nancy, in this. And just so that you guys know, this is the premise of everything we do, right? Everything that, if you hadn't noticed, Nancy always in her posts, something's probably personal. And then even in a post, sometimes it'll say a little bit about the personal, a little bit about your business, and a little bit about how you run your company. So this is definitely a theme that you're going to see throughout all 3 books. And Nancy, I just have to ask you to tell that little story, because this is one of my favorite stories, where you talk about Mark and what he told his teacher about what his mom did, because I love this story.
Oh, yes, yes. So when my son was in kindergarten, he went to a private school, and I was one of the few moms who worked at this school, right? Most of the moms were stay-at-home moms, and they had a career day, and Mark's kindergarten teacher's name was Mrs. Nichols. And so Mrs. Nichols would ask the students, what does your daddy do for a living? And then she would say, because most of the moms were stay-at-home moms, right? What does your mom, how does your mommy spend her day? So when it came Mark's turn, he said, my daddy is a dentist, and he explained, my husband was a periodontist, so explained to the kids what that was. And when Mrs. Nichols said, okay, so thank you, Mark. So tell us, how does your mommy spend her day? Now, I was working at the time with the Women's Business Development Council of Florida, quite a mouthful for a 6-year-old. And Mark looked up and he said, my mommy spends her day in the company of women. And I thought, wow, yes, that is exactly what I do, from the out of the mouth of babes. Mark just kind of nailed it. And so whenever, very often when I introduce myself, I say I work in the company of women, and I am blessed to do that, because I think that we are so incredible in every aspect of our lives, right? The nurturing, the business development, the giving back. So yeah, thank you for reminding me to share that.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites, and like you said, it truly, I think, epitomizes, and it's like one of your, I know you have another tagline you use from Mr. Joe Allen, but definitely Mark had a part in this. So now we want to kind of jump over, and I wanted Nancy to share a little bit from the actual book to give you guys a little taste of what you're going to hear. So she's going to pick a section and share a little bit just from the book. So we're going to get a reading
yeah.
right now.
Yes, and so this is tip number 11 under the section called business development. And I chose this because it's one of the things that a lot of our business owners struggle the most with, which is their pitch, right? So your pitch is your story. And whenever we have a business owner come to us and say, I don't know, I'm going to be meeting with a corporate, and I know I have to do this pitch, but I don't even know the first thing about writing this pitch or what it means. So I'll just read to you a little bit, and then we can discuss the importance of your story. So perfect your pitch is the title of this tip. When you approach a potential customer or client to talk about what your business does and how you do it, you're making a pitch. This is your opportunity to make a meaningful impression and get a conversation started. It's essential that you get off on the right foot, no matter what kind of business you have or who you're approaching. A good pitch has a good rhythm and is easy to remember, both for you and for the person on the receiving end. Keep in mind that the key is to make it your own. Your pitch has to be in your voice. Every good pitch has some key elements. And so here are the 6 key elements to a good pitch. First off, it's who you are. Start your pitch with information about your company. The second element, talk about what you do, be specific, and don't hesitate to brag. The third element, your audience. Keep in mind who you're talking to and adapt your pitch to those individuals. The fourth element, how you do it. Talk about your team. Present solutions that are common in their industry. Number 5, why you do it. Talk about your purpose and your mission. What unique perspective do you bring to your projects? And finally, number 6 is all about your experience. Cover the number of years your company has been in business and showcase your expert status. Keep in mind that your pitch should be 2 to 4 minutes. If you make it longer than 4 minutes, you might lose their attention. Make sure to practice. Your pitch must flow and sound natural. And finally, adapt and adopt. You can use one of several different versions of your pitch, varying the context and the length depending on your audience. So there it is in a nutshell, right? It's not rocket science. There's some key elements, and once you craft your story into those 6 key elements, you've got the great makings of a really good pitch. And I'm going to give a shout out to Dr. Jackie because she won a pitch competition, probably using some of these same elements, and she did that, on her own, knowing how important these different elements were in her business. And that pitch competition got her some financing, and more than that, Dr. Jackie tells the story of more than the financing was the mentorship that came. It was a pitch competition that WeBank had, and it came with a year-long mentorship. And so again, to speak to the importance of your pitch and knowing your story, right? So do you want to say a few words, Dr. Jackie, about your pitch in that competition?
Sure. I say it was like the pitch that launched me, literally. So I had actually not been a WeBank member. I think I've been a WeBank member now for just a few years. And I went my first year to WeBank because I was actually at a different conference for medicine. And I happened to stop in just for one day and was like, wow, I had met so many of the most incredible people, because at the time when I started my company, I was everything, right? I worked a 7 to 5 at the hospital, and I worked a 5 to 7 starting and kind of moving my company. But the WeBank PepsiCo pitch competition really changed everything for me. And it was a way for me to be able to express to all of my potential buyers. I mean, imagine, you're sitting there with thousands of people who could potentially buy your product, but even bigger were the Walmarts, the Targets, and all of those people in the supplier diversity channel are who I actually currently work with. And even if they don't at this time, and this was my favorite story, UPS, for example, I absolutely love them. They heard my pitch whenever I won, and they said, one day we'll work together. One day we'll work together. Well, the day finally came whenever I did the pivoting for no more PPE problems. They now procure $500,000 every week from me. And they've been doing this since the very beginning, which has been amazing. Again, it's not my manufactured products, but in order to be able to tell people what you do, then they get to know not only who you are, but they also introduce you to their friends. And in this supplier diversity realm, I say, what's better than fishing is to be a big fish in a really small pond. And we kind of work in a very small pond because they have all of this money that's set aside for women-owned businesses. And actually the mentorship didn't stop in year 1. I still call Christy, who's the chief financial officer of all of PepsiCo, and I'm like, hey, I got a problem. What do you think about this? And we just talk, and she's not the only one. I mean, I can go to any of their execs, whether it's Tropicana, Frito-Lay, Pepsi, Bubbly was one that kind of came up when I came up also. And if you ever saw a Pepsi can last summer that said no mo, That was their tribute to me, and they were able to do this big marketing campaign for women-owned businesses. So it took it far past just a pitch, but nobody would have ever known Nomo Bands if it wouldn't have been for me kind of getting out there. And it was actually scary. They now have it where you can actually read a teleprompter. Before, you had to do a 3-minute on your own with absolutely nothing but your memory, your smile, and just hoping that you don't trip on stage. So it was the most incredible opportunity. And since then, I've won a few other pitch competitions, because once you get it, you got it. Then it's just tailoring it to who's your audience. But it was awesome, and I actually still MC it. So every time I MC the pitch competition at all of the major WeBank events, so you'll still see me, but I root on all of the other contestants, and actually we form friendships. We just had our big meeting. There's a few of us who are mompreneurs and who kind of have, you know, increased over $1 million worth in revenue share. And we can actually talk about different ideas. And we formed this really solid girl group of like 17 of us. And so we usually meet, I try to meet quarterly just so that we can all talk about it. And we just exchange buyers, and it's awesome. So there's a lot of really great things that have come out of it.
And it's all, again, you know, it's about the pitch and how you tell it, right? So your pitch is your voice, and it's your chance to be really authentic in telling a short story of who you are, what you do, and most importantly, what solution you're bringing to the issue at hand.
And Nancy, we had a question from Camille, and I'm going to do my best here, Camille. I think there's might be some words missing, but it says, did you put experience? Was that one of the things that you would put in there? And then she says, how long on purpose? But I think she might just be saying, so, you know, how purposeful should you be maybe with experience? And Camille,
No, wait, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good, you can talk.
What I meant was, you put last experience in your keys here. So, and usually I say, oh, I've been in business 15 years in the beginning. Did you do it on purpose to put it at the end?
Just the 6 elements, but you can vary where you put that, right? You can vary where you put each of the elements depending on who you're speaking with. So for someone who doesn't have too much experience, they maybe don't want to lead with that, but you do need to speak to your experience. And remember that the experience is not just in the business you have now, it's over the course of your career, right? It's your professional experience that you're talking about. So even if you just started your business 2 years ago, but you've been in this field or around this field, or you have knowledge of the field, you can say, you know, I bring expertise from the past 25 years to offering you the following solution, right? And it always has to be about them. It's a solution. What you're offering in the pitch is a teaser, enough information about who you are and what you do to connect with that person, because you all know this, but I'll repeat it for good measure. People do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And your pitch is, you know, one of the steps that you can make to solidify them knowing you, them liking you, and them trusting you. So to answer your question, Camille, you can start off with how many years you've been in business. You can weave it in at any point.
Perfect. Nancy, I wanted to just on the pitch section, you mentioned a couple of things that I think we, from our perspective, sometimes see that the business owners don't see, but 2 things that I'd love for you to just talk a little bit more about why they're so important is telling your personal story, which you mentioned in there, and then also talking about your team. And the reason I mentioned is we had a whole session a couple weeks ago because we didn't see a lot of women putting this even on their website. So I'd love for you to just talk, because I know sometimes it's hard to talk about ourselves, right?
Yeah. And what happens a lot of the time is we know our story so well, and we know our passion because we live it day in and day out, that we forget to kind of weave that in, right? So everybody, what is going to set you apart is why you started your company, right? And there's probably 1 or 2 reasons that you can use as really great examples of why you started your company. You know, we've weaved kind of those types of things throughout the books too. There's some inspiration, there's some stories, there are places where you can take some notes. But it's really important to let the person who you're speaking with know that you're passionate about this. You're not just running a business to run a business. You know, you'd be foolish to be putting all of this time and effort and money and struggle and everything just to be doing it. No, you're doing this because you have a passion for working with women. You have a passion for providing healthcare. You have a passion for, you know, safety. So Camille, you're in construction. I bet you if we dug a little deep, or maybe not too deep, you would say your passion is creating safety, right? And making people's dreams of home ownership come true. Your passion has to do with why you get up in the morning, right? And your story is related to that. So as you're meeting these different corporate representatives, or you're meeting people that you're introducing your company to, you really want to connect with them so that they will remember, oh my gosh, she's the one who said this, and that. And she's the one who started her business because she had a personal challenge, because she saw something that was wrong in the industry, or that she could better, right? So remember, it's the solution, but in sharing your story, you're making that connection. Right? And then remind me, what was the second part of what you asked me? It was to talk about your experience and your passion. So I guess I did talk about those 2 things.
Yeah, perfect. I want to shift a little bit because I think a couple of you guys mentioned this, but you know, when we talk about growing and scaling, you and I both know, and others do too, one of the biggest things that kind of can trip us up is hiring people, right? Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit, because you put some really great tips in the book of things that you have seen worked, as well as what you have advised that worked. And again, so I was telling Nancy, I even was doing a site visit today, and that was something that this new potential WBE was looking for support in. She's ready to scale, but the biggest hurdle is hiring. She's just, you know, a little bit nervous about that. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to talk about that, because that does come up a lot.
Yeah. So as women, we're very nurturing, and we think of our business as an extension of ourselves, an extension of our family, extension of our community, right? And so the first thing to consider when you're bringing new people on board is your corporate culture. And even before you consider your corporate culture, your own core values, right? So what is it that drives you? What is it that you get up every morning and you say, if I'm able to affect this, and that, then I am living in my core values. And one of the exercises in the book is for, you know, to help you identify your core values. A lot of us kind of know what they are, but we haven't taken the time to just write them down, right? And you'll find that with your core values, they're reflected throughout your day in all aspects of your life. If you're struggling with a potential client or an existing client, you know, take a step back and say, okay, what are my core values? And you'll probably find that client, that potential client, that employee, that person that you're meeting with is rubbing up against one of your core values. And that's why there's some discord. So in order to hire people who are going to work with you successfully, who are going to represent your brand, who are going to represent you and the corporate culture, one of the things to ask them is, you know, what are your core values? Or you can be proactive and say, our core values are certification, connection, and championing women in business, right? We certify, we champion, we connect, and we champion women in business. Now, if you're not interested in those things, then you're not going to be a good fit for us, right? So take some time and work on your core values, and you'll probably find that your personal core values and your corporate core values are very much in alignment. And that's a really good litmus test when you're meeting with someone that you're thinking of hiring. Because if your core values are, creativity, and one of your core values is creativity, and you're meeting with someone who just doesn't have a creative bone in their body, is it going to work out for you, right? Yes, and you should hire people who are different from you, but not that radically different from you, right? Your corporate culture is also really, really important, and that is represented on your website. It's represented in your marketing and your branding. And again, when you're hiring people, does it look like they're going to fit into your corporate culture? Does it look like they're going to understand the way you do business, right? So if you're a company that is very gregarious, likes to have a lot of fun, and you're trying to bring somebody on who is not like that, then I'd say kind of think twice and see how are you going to make that person fit in, because if not, they're not going to fit in, and that's not good for anyone.
Fabulous. So I want to just double check and see if there's any questions from the group before Nancy knows I can ask questions all day long.
Yeah, well, I'd like to shout out to Diane Sears, who's joined us. Diane is the editor of this and book number 2, and will probably be the editor of book number 3. And she was amazing to work with, because Diane is able to take your voice and translate it right into whatever it is you're working on. So those of you that are interested in exploring the possibility of writing a book or starting the process, just contact Diane and she'll walk you right through it, and you will be amazed at the results.
Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. And Diane, actually, I would love to ask you just maybe give like 1 or 2 little tips, if you don't mind, on, this process. Because like Nancy said, it's been a learning, right? She had to learn how to take what she had done and put it into a book. So if you don't mind, because I think everybody on here, if they haven't written the book, they've got a book in them, right?
So true. Well, thank you. The one thing is that everyone needs to keep in mind, every single person on earth has a story to tell. Some people's stories are more, I guess, adventuresome or whatever than others. Some stories are involve movie stars and that kind of thing. But everybody has a story to tell, right? And so your story is so unique to you. Everywhere you've been, everything you've done is absolutely unique. So no one on earth has the same blend of everything you've accomplished as you do. So that's the number one thing, is to believe that you have a story to tell. And picking when and how to tell that story is really important. So for Nancy, just talking about core values and all of that, Nancy knew that she had a story to tell, but she knew even more so that she wanted to be able to share the experience that she's had helping women business owners with more than just the people we can reach with the Women's Business Enterprise Council of Florida. There are so many other people out there who are not members who need that help. And so Nancy has been, she's a great writer and has been writing her Tuesday toolbox for a long time. And somebody told Nancy, hey, this would be a great idea to put this all in a book somewhere. And I want you to ask yourselves, all of you on the call and all of you watching, how many people have said that to you? Oh, you're so smart, or you're so good at what you do, and you should write a book someday. So just start taking notes and start doing it. And I have coached people through all different phases of books. Some said, I can't write, but they have 2 PhDs and they go around the world speaking, but they say they can't write. So So I've said, okay, then just speak into a microphone or just record what you're doing or send me your notes, whatever you have. And I've actually helped people write by just sending a questionnaire, just a list of questions. You just respond to these and we'll put a chapter together. So it's really, you know, it's what you make it and it's how you tell your story. Don't be afraid of the process. The process is just process. Just like with everything you all do, process is process.
Oh, I love that. And it is true. You know, I think that's one of the biggest things, and we don't talk so much about it, but really, I think that was the other thing, Nancy, too, is one of the things you first said to me when I was working on my business is you said, don't be afraid because you got everything you need. And what you don't have, you've got friends that have it. And she reminds me that every day, like when I'm really deep down in something, Nancy will say, I bet we know somebody that can help you with that. Or she'll mention a name. So I think that that's another thing to keep in mind is that you don't have to do it alone. I mean, this was definitely inspiration, and Nancy, you know, put a lot of work, but we all helped in essence of, you know, yep, we like that cover. That color speaks, that doesn't. And so, yeah, I just really want to, you know, again, thank you, Nancy. And I thank you. Dr. Jacqueline asked about where we could get the book. So it is on Amazon. And that's really another reason why we are celebrating today, because it's just so exciting, I know, for Nancy and even for all of us who's been a part of the journey to see it, to go on Amazon and have it pop up and be able to download to Kindle or to get your hard copy version, which I have to admit, Nancy knows I'm usually a digital person, but this one, guys, you're going to want to get I would say a hard copy, because there's checklists and there's places where you'll want to make notes, and you know, it's a workbook element, right, Nancy? There are some elements in here to do exercises. So
right. Yeah, and I think also to echo what Diane was saying about everybody has a book in them. The other thing to keep in mind is who's your target market for the book, right? So whatever story you have, there is somebody who needs to hear that, whether it's inspirational or educational or just resource-based. Somebody needs to hear it. And I am, you know, blessed to get up every morning and look forward to the ingenuity of women business owners. I admire you all so much. And just your ability to think quickly and to pivot. And we've seen a lot of really interesting pivots in this time. And I think it has to do with our resourcefulness, right? We, and again, as Steph said, I really believe you have all of the answers you need. And sometimes you just need someone to kind of coach you or guide it out of you. I think, you know, we all have the potential to be extremely successful, you know, and sometimes we just need some sisters to help pull it out of us.
Right. And I want to thank Valerie asked about the Tuesday Toolbox. And I will say what we have done recently with COVID is, instead of waiting once a week, if you've been getting our emails, you'll notice there's tips in every email that comes out. But we are starting next week getting back into Nancy's blog. So we took a little pause while we were getting this one up and published. And then again, during the quarantine, the move was to kind of give you little tidbits. And so actually we're excited. Nancy, we just put our heads together last week, and I think we're going to pull those tips out and put them into a little ebook that you'll be able to download, because they were some really great. They were going out Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they were just little quick tips. You know, here's something today on your mindset. Here's something today to think about for your people. You know, here's something. So yeah, so we will be combining that, but she is starting back her blog next week. So they will go back out on Tuesdays, and yeah, so it's good. Everybody now is going to want the Tuesday Toolbox back, Nancy.
Wonderful.
But like everybody else, we took a little pause. But yeah, and again, that's another great thing is even if you, we just took some things. As Nancy said, she is a course taker, and we all just learned a little bit more about how to do mini books or ebooks. So it's another thing that if you're not ready for a big book, right, Nancy, you can always do that.
That's absolutely right. And you can use a mini book or an ebook to set yourself up as an expert. And we have had some of our members be really successful at that. And you know, one example is one of our members is Terry Lehman, and she has a really great company that does treeless paper products. And early on, she did an ebook showing the process of how she makes these paper products treeless. And she shared that with a lot of corporations. And she just recently, you know, did some business with the Super Bowl. She's doing business with Pepsi. I mean, it's just incredible how, because she took the time to write out, to chronicle her expertise, that really set her apart. So think in your own business, what is it that you do? Do you have a process? Do you have some tools, some solutions? Put all that together into a couple of pages or, you know, slides. I'd say no more than 10 slides because, you know, people's attention span is kind of short. But you put it into a slide presentation and it sets you apart. It makes you very memorable. And that's really the key to developing your business. Again, people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And if they can trust that you really are the expert, you know your business, you know how you're going to provide a good solution for them, you become memorable and you're the person that they're going to refer to. The other thing that I really admire about a lot of our business owners is that they're looking beyond themselves, right? So they're looking at, what can I do for my sisters? What can I do for other businesses that I know? And that also is a really great way to set yourself apart. So you approach someone and you realize, okay, I don't have what they need. This person isn't my target market. But instead of just walking away, say, you know what, can I introduce you to so-and-so? Because she does, it sounds to me like she does something you might be interested in. And everybody is really very welcoming of that, right? Because we like to connect and we like to be connected. And if you trust me and you like me and you know me, and I'm going to introduce you to Lisa Roblejo, who's going to change your life because she's going to help you get certified, chances are you're going to contact Lisa. And Lisa's going to do a wonderful job for you. And then you're going to come back and say, Nancy, that was the best idea you ever gave me. Thank you so much. And the next time you need something, or you might connect me with somebody else. So it's really all about going beyond. And you know, everyone I know, all women, were really good at looking at the community and not just ourselves.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you guys so much for joining us and helping us celebrate this wonderful book. And again, there's more to come, and also stay tuned because some other things that Nancy's passion is bringing this to life in some other formats, courses and things. So stay tuned, because not only are you going to have the book, but there's also some things coming in the next few weeks that we're so excited about. So big month of reveals for Nancy and the team. And again, just congratulations, Nancy. We love you so much. And we're so all very excited about this. This is a win for the whole community to see this book come to fruition, because we know you know, you've been an amazing leader and mentor to us. So thank you all too, for all of you, for the team, and then also all of you amazing women business owners out there every day, really changing the world with what you were doing. And that's exactly what you're doing. We get to see it, and we want to make sure that you guys know we are watching and we see you. And we just appreciate all you're doing for the world out there and for women. And we will see you soon. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.